freshman.
Very good. Very good. Have you given any thought to college yet? Like, do you know that you would like to attend college?
Yeah, I'm currently looking for a college that has like that's offering courses for a mechanical engineer, but
Okay.
I just started doing research on it.
Okay. Yeah, you said you're in ninth grade, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's good. This is early, and this is a really good time for you to start doing your research. Thank you for sharing that. Who else do we have on the call with us, students?
Hello, my name is Anderson.
Hi, Anderson. So what year are you in high school?
12.
You're a senior. Okay. So are you considering college for next year?
Yes.
Okay. Have you started your applications yet, or you're still trying to figure it out? You have. Okay. Okay.
I don't know what college to pick, but I'm to prepare my list.
Okay. Very good. So we'll help you out with your thought process in that tonight. Who else do we have? Who is TS? Looks like TS is still trying to connect to the audio. Are there any other students? Did I miss anyone? Well, Miss Alberta, what year is your student in? What grade? I'm sorry. What grade is your student?
Anderson Moore is my student.
Oh, that's your son. Okay, very good.
Yes.
Yay. All right. So senior. Very good. Okay. I don't see anything in the chat, and I don't see any other students.
So my daughter is in the room. She is, yes, she is a senior. And she is here to listen in to get some of the information that we are going to share with you today. Her name is Gigi.
Hey, Gigi. All right. Very good. Very good. So before we begin, do you guys have any questions, or is there anything that you're looking to receive from tonight's presentation? I want to make sure that we cover everything that you need.
I actually have a question for, I think it was Brian. Okay, Anderson, is it you who said you were interested in mechanical engineering?
Oh, no, it was me, Brian.
It was Brian. Anderson, do you have an interest yet? Any careers out there that you think might be really cool for you or a good fit?
Digital media.
Digital media. Okay. Yeah. All right. And then TS is not connected yet to audio, and that's okay. Maybe TS is on the live stream. All right. Are we ready to dive into this?
I believe so, unless you guys have any questions.
Any questions, any burning questions that you may have up front that we can spend a little bit more time on as we're going through the discussion or the presentation? Does anybody know who this school is that's behind me? Not the grown-ups. Nobody? All right. We'll see if anybody can identify you by the end of the session today. So let's not spend any more time talking about stuff that you didn't come to hear about. So today we are going to speak on, as Stacy said, how to make these really good decisions. And when it comes to choosing a college for a lot of high school students, this is the first major big time decision that you'll have to make that is really impactful to the rest of your life. So, we want to give you a little bit of insight as to how to start this process and how to start choosing where you will eventually end up. There's a lot that goes into it. Some students start really early. I hear we have a freshman on the call, which is really good. And sometimes people don't, have the resources. Or they may not know that they're even going to college until it's almost time to leave or to make that decision or even to enroll. So we are here to help you to take to kind of decompress and to make this process a little less overwhelming, less intimidating, and actually you should get a little bit of enjoyment out of making this really major decision that is going to be significantly impactful for your career choice, whatever that may be. There are some people who start college and don't have a clue as to what it is they would like to do for a career, and that is okay too. College is an opportunity for self-discovery, and the person that you enter into college as may not be the person you leave college as when it's time for you to move on or to graduate. And so it is a growth period, it is a time of discovery, and it should be one of the most amazing times of your life. In order for you to set yourself up for success, it actually starts with choosing the right school. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so today we will get into what to consider, how to do your research, how to start building your list, what types of things should be included on that list. We'll actually talk about community college being an option. If college is something that interests you, sometimes everybody doesn't go straight into a college or university. They take a different path. There's absolutely nothing at all wrong with that. And we'll be able to start to create that pathway today on your journey into college. So I do want to let you guys know that I'm not coming to you with some information that I just kind of pulled from different places. This has been a lived experience for me, not just from my college experience, which was several decades ago, but I mentioned to you that I do have a daughter who is a high school senior, and she is the last of what I call she's the last of, she's the caboose. I do have other children who are either in college. I have a son who is a sophomore at LSU. And I have other adult children who I have gone through this process with before. So aside from my experience, I wanted to share with you some what we call evidence-based information. So the information that I'm giving to you is coming from centered on or the principle of centered leadership. Why did I choose this? Because at this juncture in this decision, you should be leading. You should be leading this decision. You should be guiding this decision. Take information from all different sources, all different places, but ultimately, this is the point where you take the reins or you get behind the wheel and you're driving. So in the principles of centership, thinking about this is you in your life, you're the leader of your life at this point, being proactive, which being here today is one of those things. You want to be proactive. You don't want life to happen to you. You want to be in control as much as possible of it. We want you to start with the end in mind, and I'm going to get a lot more into that because I know that sounds a little backwards, but you definitely want to begin with the end in mind. We're going to talk about putting first things first. So in all of your fact finding, you're going to come across a lot of information, and even in that information gathering, that can be kind of overwhelming. And we want you in all of it, when you start organizing everything, you want it to be a win-win situation. And we'll get more into, well, what does win-win actually look like for you? What does win-win look like for your bestie? Win-win might look like something very different for your cousin who went to college. So we want you to be thinking in that organization of information, win-win. And Stephen Covey says you definitely want to get an understanding before, above all else. You know, you want to make sure that what you are getting is clear, that it makes sense, and that you understand. And then he says, okay, now it's time to pull it all together. You want to make sure that everything that you have, wherever you acquired this knowledge from, put it in a fashion, pull it all together in a fashion that makes sense for you. That's when it's time for you to sharpen the saw. That means it's really time to just narrow things down, to get really focused, and to get to what it is that you want out of your experience. I'm going to stop right here. And I do want to ask, among the students that are on the call, we talked about career choices. Do any of you have any question, or have any of you started looking at schools? Are there some schools that interest any of you specifically? Where's my senior?
I'm here.
Any? Go ahead.
I'm here.
Okay. Do you have any schools in particular that you're looking at, or are you
No.
still looking around?
Still looking around.
Okay. And that's what we're here for. Anderson, any schools of interest to you?
That was Anderson. You mean?
Oh, that was
Bryant?
Anderson.
Yeah,
Bryant.
yep,
That's
yep.
right. I get it right before we get off. How about you, Bryant?
I'm still looking around.
Okay. All righty.
And then we have one more student that just joined us, someone named Daphne. Daphne, are you on with us?
I'm sorry, I'm the parent. I'm getting ready to change it over to my.
Okay.
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 Well, let's hear from the parents. Any parents interested, heard about, little curious about any schools in particular?
Well, I have a junior in high school who is looking at possibly Oregon State. And then I have my son graduated last year, but with some unforeseen things that happened during COVID, he took a gap year.
Yep.
But he's interested in LSU,
Okay.
Kentucky, University of Kentucky, was already accepted into University of Colorado Springs.
Nice.
Looking at Alabama A&M. So really trying to just still narrow it down, because he's also planning on doing the Air Force ROTC while he's in there.
Wonderful. The ROTC is a great way to pay for school. There's a lot of really good, and I'm not advocating by any means, that it is for everybody, but it's definitely a good option. Especially if you're a student, you as a student, or your student plans to go to school out of state, because they have a lot of good, cool benefits to being in ROTC.
And
all right.
Miss Jean, I have a
Yes.
few high schoolers that are also interested in ROTC. They're juniors. However, their school, because of the size of the school, does not offer ROTC. Is there a place where they can go and seek that while they're still going in high school?
Absolutely, for sure. And we'll put a pin in that and come back to it at the end of the discussion. Okay. All right. You're welcome. Okay, so when I said begin with the end in mind, what I was referring to was you want to start in the future and then work your way back. If you look at these purple arrows on the left, picture your career. What do you see yourself doing? What are the things that interest you? And if you're not exactly, and as I mentioned before, it's perfectly fine not to be sure. Truth be told, quite a few, if not half, if not more, students enter into college with one major, and by the time finish, it's something totally different. You know, it could be completely different. But what you definitely want to do is a self-assessment. Okay, Jean, what do you mean by self-assessment? This requires you to kind of look inward and say, okay, what are my interests? What are my hobbies? What do I like to do with my spare time? What are the things that I'm drawn to? And how can I make a career out of that? I heard somebody say that they were interested in digital media. That is assuming that the person who is interested in majoring in digital media has some pretty decent computer skills, or they like the computer, they like spending time on the computer. What I can tell you in terms of, you know, doing a self-assessment, here's why it's so important. Because you may be interested in being a physician. You might want to be a doctor. You might find science fascinating and you gravitate to it. But if you're one of these people that don't really like to read, it's not going to work out for you. Because not only as a student, you'll be a student for a very long time, but not only as a student, will you have to read, and those textbooks are like 500-600 pages sometimes. But once you become a physician in your career, you're gonna have to keep reading. There are, you know, professional journals and things that get published in order to stay current with the latest developments and breakthroughs in medicine. It's going to require reading. So you want to look at the career that you are interested in, if you know what that is, and do a little digging into that career. Talk to people if you know anybody, or try to expose yourself to that career choice so that you can identify, is this something that is going to fit with my lifestyle, with my habits, with my interests, with my hobbies? And that is what I mean by exploring options under the career arrow. So once you kind of have, you know, figured that those things out, what kind of career would I like? Then you can determine, or you guidance to say, okay, what do I need to major in order to set myself up for success in college to pursue this particular career? It may be that, you know, talking to this individual who is interested in pursuing medicine. Well, medicine in college is not a career. Some colleges have pre-medicine. Some, you know, you can major in genetics, chemistry. You can major in quite a few people. I went to college with somebody who actually majored in mechanical engineering, believe it or not. I'm not making this up. Graduated with a mechanical engineering degree, went back to medical school. He is now a neurosurgeon. He operates on people's brains. So just because you choose one thing doesn't mean that you're locked in, and that's why I'm sharing that story with you. However, it can kind of get you to your end goal a little bit quicker if you can start developing a path or a plan, starting with your career, and then it'll help you to determine what your major should be. You might want to be an attorney. Should you be an English major? Should you be a political science major? Should you be a journalism major? All of those things are tied into being prepared to be able to go to law school. So with your major, once you start exploring majors, you want to be realistic. Like we talked about the digital arts. Is this, do you like the computer? Do you are you able to grasp some of those things that are needed? Because not in a digital arts program, it's not necessarily all drawing and animating and doing those fun things. There may be some other classes that you have to take as well that may have to do history. But you do have to be, you should be realistic to try to set yourself up for success. And again, that alignment is, does it mean that you're going to have to take history the whole 4 years? No. But just know that there'll be some classes sprinkled in there that you're going to have to really force yourself to attend. Then once we're working backwards, we're looking at some potential career paths and some potential majors. That is that's the core information that you need to pick a school. You definitely want to choose a school that has your major. If you want to major in nursing, guess what? USC is not an option for you, because USC doesn't have a nursing program. So you, at that point, have to make a decision. Is it that you want to pursue nursing, or you want to be what's more important, being a Trojan or being a nurse? So those are the kinds of things that you want to look at. And then have a backup career in your pocket. You may have a career plan A, B, C, could be a career plan D. You might be one of these people that's genuinely interested in a whole lot of different things. And the college is the time to explore all of that. You can take whatever classes, you can take photography, you can take all kinds of really cool stuff. And this is also be where you change your mind. My best friend was all through high school, want to be a pharmacist, want to be a pharmacist, want to be a pharmacist. And she chose Xavier University in New Orleans as her university. She was at the end of her sophomore year, and she called me and she said she was doing an internship at a pharmacy, I think at Walgreens. And she called me, she says, Jean, there's no way I can do this for the rest of my life. I can't. This is so boring. But she had that exposure. So she changed her major, and she changed her major to chemistry, ended up pursuing a pre-med path. She's now a pediatric oncologist. And the cool thing about it was she didn't have to switch schools to do it. So those are things that you also want to consider. You may find a school with a great engineering program, but in your back pocket, you really, you might want to be an educator, may want to be a teacher. That might be your career plan B. So you want to pick a school that, yes, they have a great chemical engineering program, but just in case, I get in there and I don't like it, I don't want to have to uproot my life to go find a different school that has a really solid education program. So fortunately, she chose Xavier University, that happens to be the #1 school in the nation for decades now, in placing Black people into medical school, or preparing them so they can get accepted to medical school. Worked out for her. I want it to work out for you. I am going to stop right here to ask if anybody has any questions. So am I making sense when I say start with the end in mind? I'm going to take silence as agreement. All right. So now we get down into the nitty gritty. Now we can see here some of the many things you want to look at when it is time to choose a school. Okay. So say you talk to some people, you have some schools in mind. I heard Oregon State, I heard Alabama A&M, I heard LSU. Let's look at the academic programs. We talked about that. You know, do they have academic programs that align with your interests? The other thing that's really important that people tend to overlook, because it's an assumption, is that the school is accredited. What that means is that this university or this college has gone through the rigor of, you know, being able to prove that they are worthy to teach you, that they know what they're doing, and they get an accreditation from this big governing board. Not that you care, but basically what this means is your school is legit. Okay. What happens if you end up at a school that's not accredited is you might have problems securing financial aid. You might have problems getting a job. There are schools who have accreditations, and those have gotten snatched. Some of them have recently regained accreditations. So you definitely want to know that the school that you pick is credible, and that you're not going to have any problems when it comes time to, you know, securing some aid or some scholarships to be able to pay for it. You also want to know the admissions requirements. This is kind of, for some students, that this part is make or break. You know, some schools in other states may require a little bit more than, say, what California requires for you to actually graduate. Some schools may require that you have 2 years of a foreign language to get in. That if, you know, or 3 years, it may be 2 years of the same foreign language. You just never know. Some of them, you know, may require that you have 4 years of math and 4 years of a social studies. So you want to make sure that you're able to, when you start finding schools that you think you might like or that might be of interest to you, that you can check out those boxes for the admission requirements, not just GPA. GPA is, you know, is relatively important, but all of that other stuff that they are looking for and that you actually qualify. Okay. Location. This is a big one, and it is very personal. Do you want to go to, as Stacy said, you want to stay close to home? Are you interested in spreading your wings and branching out? Are you okay with going to a wet climate? Are you okay with going to, because we're kind of spoiled here in Southern California. Are you okay with going to a cold climate somewhere where it snows, like Chicago? Are you wanting, like my daughter would like to attend an HBCU, and she is intently on HBCUs in parts of the country where she has family. So, you know, even though there may be hundreds of miles distance between us, she wants that bit of security where if she needs to wash her clothes, if she gets a flat tire, if she wants a home cooked meal, she can pick up the phone and call an aunt, a cousin, something like that. So you definitely want, you know, to determine how important location is to you. Also size. Stacy mentioned big school, small school. And that is a very, very personal choice as well. You know, where do you thrive? Are you one of these people? It doesn't matter if you're sitting in an auditorium for your class, you know, or are you one of these people that you rather you have a smaller class size? And it just depends. Can you function on a campus that is 4 times the size of your high school? Meaning, you know, geographically, like the layout, or would you rather be on a smaller campus? Affordability, probably should have listed that first. That's a big one. You know, are you choosing a school that, or do you know how affordable the school is? Because even though they said, for example, Stanford can be pretty doggone pricey. It is, you know, over $20,000 a year, easily, probably a semester, if I had to guess. But did you know that if your family's income is below a certain threshold, and the threshold is over $100,000 a year, believe it or not. If your family's income is below a certain threshold, you can go to Stanford for free. So you definitely want to, you know, you want to know what is out there. Don't assume because it's a big name, big school, that they don't have school related funds. You also want to take a look at the local cost, the cost of living. That's not such a big drastic consideration here in for people coming from Southern California as it is for students that may live in Texas and are considering going to school in DC. The cost of living in Texas is very, very different than the cost of living in Southern California or the cost of living in DC. You know, they may go and spend $2 for a tube of name brand toothpaste. Here it might be 5 or 6, same in DC. So you definitely want to factor in how much is it going to cost me just to exist at the schools that I am looking at. Alabama A&M is going to be a lot more affordable from just ordering pizza type of a situation than, you know, a school up north perhaps. You also want to think about the academic reputation. Why is that important? When it's time to get a job, doors will open for you with some schools just based on the name. There's not a question as to whether or not this school is accredited, whether or not it's a good school, because there, you know, some schools have a really good academic reputation. The school that's behind me, for example, this Southern University, has a stellar reputation for engineering, for nursing, for a few other majors. And so if you are graduating from Southern University, one of their engineering programs, jobs will come looking for you. You know, Honeywell and you know, huge name brand household names, they will come to you because they know that certain schools and with certain academic programs produce top-notch employees. They are graduated, knowledgeable, and ready to enter the workforce and to be a meaningful contributor to their teams. Campus culture and environment. This is huge. It's major. I mean, I can't overemphasize how important it is to peer into the campus culture. One of the advantages that you guys have that, you know, is relatively new on the scene is you have a lot of people on YouTube that do blogs. And so these students can walk you through a day in the life on a particular campus. They can tell you what professors you should take for specific classes. They can tell you what student life is like, because not only are you there to be a student and to prepare yourself for your career, but you're also there, as I mentioned before, to discover who you are, to find your tribe, to enjoy your college experience and what the culture is like, what the environment is like. Because no matter, you could be at one of the best schools in the country for the career path that you have decided, and if you're miserable because, you know, the environment or the culture is not one that you think that you fit well into, or it's hard for you to assimilate, you're going to want to come home, and that's all you're going to be focused on, is coming home, as opposed to there. And you won't get out of it what you are intending to experience. So the college experience is critically important. Don't sleep on campus culture. It's major, huge. I cannot tell you, out of all of the campuses that I visited with my with my kids, how have walked onto the campus with one notion. Had one of my daughters she was dead set on Duke. She didn't want to look at any other schools. Going to Duke the whole time she was in high school. Her dad took her on a college campus tour to Duke. She hated it because it was literally in the middle of nowhere. And this kid grew up in the city. Now, on the campus was cool, but once you left the perimeter of the campus, it was cow pastures and stuff. And she's like, I can't do this. She ended up at Auburn. She's now an attorney. But I'm just saying, get the team, okay? Make sure you have the team. Employment support. Ask some questions. When you go to these college fairs and you start talking to recruiters, ask them, you know, what kind of support do you guys provide to your graduates or to your almost graduates to try to find jobs? You never know. I mean, who could have guessed that we were going to have a once in a lifetime pandemic? You want to have that backup to say, I don't want to spend all this money and all this time here thinking that I'm going to get out and automatically get a job, and now I'm struggling. So see what their employment support is like. The alumni network. Here's something else you don't want to sleep on. Social media. Use your social media to reach out to the alumni networks. Most schools will have on Instagram, they have alumni groups. And so, you know, you want to reach out and say, hey, even if you put a comment in a post on their page to say, I'm thinking about going to Spelman, or I'm thinking about going to Morehouse, or I'm thinking about going to University of Kentucky. What can you tell me? And if you have an even more specific question, they'll give it to you. You know, this is a really good place to get some answers. It's also a really good place to find scholarships. These alumni networks, y'all, these are graduates who have jobs and who are so, you know, who so love their schools that they stay connected and they donate. And they have scholarships that you don't have to pay back. So plug into the alumni network. Ultimately, you want to have balance. You definitely want to have, you want to have balance as a student and as a person. You don't want to be, you know, so immersed in just nothing but school that you totally neglect the human side of you and whatever those needs may be. You don't want to be, you know, so immersed and so engrossed in the other aspect of it. I'm sorry.
I want to go to school where, well, just parent of it, and it was a fun day. Legit for more my journey life.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
To learn more in my journey of life.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where that balance comes in. And we'll talk about that's actually connections. Because you want to pick a school that is where you're going to be able to make connections. You want to make connections with the people who live in your dorm. You want to make connections with your professors. You want to make connections with the people in the cafeteria who serve your food, because these are all part of your community and they're going to look out for you. They are going to become a part of your lifelong network. So if, for example, you need somebody, you need somebody to give you a recommendation when you go to get a job and they say, oh, do you have a reference? And you are able to go to your professors and say, hey, will you give me a reference? I just interviewed for this job. And they'll be more than happy to do it. But they also along the way are grooming and mentoring you and spending some time with you. And, you know, these are people that you can go to say, you know what, I don't even have enough money for a hot dog today. Or, you know, your sweet mate who you may have to borrow laundry detergent from. Or, you know, just, there's so many valuable experiences that you can get at a college or university. You get out of it what you put into it. So, you know, join some organizations, get to know the people around you. You'll learn from them. They'll learn from you. There are clubs, all kinds of, you know, really cool things at these colleges and universities. And you'll meet other people who share your interests. So you'll have things in common. You'll have things to talk about. You'll meet people when you go to class. But you definitely want to explore and learn, as you said, about life. What's out there? What's on the other side of college? What do I need to be there? So what do I need to look out for? So you, when you leave, you have that close-knit network and you can pick up the phone and reach out to somebody if necessary. You know, you want to be able to call somebody if you're on campus and you run out of gas, like you can pick up the phone and call one of your somebody in your, you know, English class and say, dude, I'm right over here by your apartment. Can you drop me off on campus? That kind of thing. So make sure you want to definitely want to have that good experience. And if you explore and examine some of the things that are projected on your screen right now, that is a good way to have a foundation in selecting a school. So I stop right here. We can chat.
There is a hand raised, Jean.
I can't.
Alberta Moore raised her hand. Alberta Moore raised her hand.
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw a comment in the chat from Arlene Martinez Vasquez that says, why would I want to be friends with workers? And I'm sure you're gonna give a response, but I wanted to give a response. I went to Loyola Marymount a million years ago in the 1980s. And when I went there really wasn't that many Black students, Black teachers, Black professors there when I went there. Mm-hmm. And at times you can be really lonely. And sometimes having the support of those workers to tell you to keep going. And the workers have been there a long time. They've developed relationships with people. So for example, there were times I was going, oh, you know, I needed something. And it was a person that worked as a maid that told me, you need to go to this particular person. That wasn't listed on any of the websites or anything, but that person had a relationship with that person. And they said, Alberta is coming to talk to you about this. So the reason I said is the workers have been at the school for years. And also their kids get to go to the school for free.
Right.
So, you know, so, and also even just the cafeteria workers, right? There were times where I missed dinner because I was late. And, you know, I had folks' number and I'm going, you know, I missed dinner and they saved me dinner.
Yes.
So, you know, you never know where your support comes from, and you never know who knows who and who has a relationship with who. So, in regards to being you know, friends with workers, and actually one of my greatest friends at Loyola Marymount was a janitor.
Yep.
And just had the most insight about things. So
yeah, for sure. They can tell you where the best parking spots are. They can, I mean, be friendly with everybody. Everybody, there's, you know, there's something to gain from almost every encounter. I thank you for sharing that, Alberta, because I can relate to everything that you said.
And can I just add to what Miss Alberta is saying? College is all about relationships, the relationships and connections that you're developing, in addition to the knowledge that you're gaining to be a professional in your field. All right. I always tell the youth here at our center, I mean, look, if you're going to get your hair done, right, for my guys, are you going to go to a barber that doesn't know what they're doing? They're like, which clipper should I? They're asking you, which clipper should I use? Huh? You're not going to go to them. If my ladies, if they don't lay your edges down right, if your hair is not pressed right or curled, your coils are not curled right, you're not gonna give them your money. You going to school is so that you can gain the knowledge and meet other people who are like-minded, that will share knowledge, that's going to share experience, their wisdom, so that now when you leave and you say, how am I going to make an impact in this field? If it's science, if it's engineering, like I know Brian said he wants to be a mechanical engineer, you know, for all the different things that you guys say you want, you know, how are you going to make a difference in that field? What is going to set you apart? What new concept are you going to come up with that you're going to share with the world? Because everybody has a phone now. That was not the case years ago, right? And there's so many devices and apps and all these things that someone's bright idea was like, right? And they may have developed that in college, before or after college, right? But all of this is a part of your journey and you gathering this information to be strong in your field. So you guys, as Miss Jean is sharing, you know, and you're choosing the school that you go to, you want to go to the best school that's going to give you the opportunities in your field, because not every school has every major, right? And you want to go to the best school that's going to give you those opportunities. And like she mentioned, that there's schools that are going to give you a free tuition, that's going to give you a free ride. And so students, I want you guys to start taking a look at the cost. And I know we're going to talk about it. I know the states are going to talk about it more as you're here for CAP. How much does it really cost to go to school? Right? And what are the resources that are available to you? Because you guys, there's so much resources. People want to bless you and pour into your life. They say, yes, that janitor that said, Miss Alberta, I saw that you missed dinner, but here's lunch. That's something on the low scale. But what about that person that is now going to take your resume and put it on the top of the pile because they say, you know what, I'm working here and I know this person is a good fit. And I think they will be wonderful. And as that person's going through all the different resumes, they're going to look at yours. What? Okay. So come on, don't put your catchers up, you guys. Don't miss out on what's being shared here, because it's going to make a difference, and it will make a difference in your life and your perspective. It's going to make a difference in what car you drive. How much money are you going to go on vacation? What kind of phone
are you going to
have?
go on vacation? Are you going to go to San Diego? Are you going to go to Bora Bora?
I mean, Also, what kind of food let's bring it home. What kind of food, or where kind of stores are you gonna go to get your groceries for your house, for your family, right? All those things. How much money are you gonna make, to take care of yourself and your family? So these are options that we want to share with you also. When you make your choice for you and your family, you're making the best choice for you as you're in your path, your journey.
And
Thank you.
can I also interject another reason for making good connections? Let's say you are sick and you have to miss class 2 or 3 days. Hopefully you have connected with some of your fellow students in your class who you can ask, hey, I missed class 2 days. Can you share your notes with me? Because missing a day of class is really hard to make up, let me tell you. So you need to make connections with people that are taking the classes that you're in so that you guys can help each other, form study groups. When you have big projects and papers to do, work together. And if you're sick, ask them for help. And same in reverse, help others who need help. It works both ways. And then also one other point that I want to touch on that Jean brought up earlier was about college fairs. I highly encourage all of you guys to attend college fairs. It's really hard to go visit all the schools that you're interested in attending. But when there's a good college fair in your area, make an effort to attend that college fair, because that's your opportunity to go speak with recruiters from that school and ask them these questions that are on the list in front of you. Is your school accredited? Which you could actually look that up online. What size is your school? What are your admission requirements? What does it take to get into your school? I'm a recruiter for Spelman College, and one of the #1 questions I'm always asked, what do I have to do to get into Spelman? Because it's not just good grades. That's just one little piece of the pie. What other do you have a program that's a dual degree engineering program, or do you have a teaching certification program? These are things that you should be asking based on this list, either looking them up online as you're doing your research about the schools, or when you're attending college fairs. Go talk to those recruiters. They're there to answer those questions, but don't come up to the table and look for the free stuff. Don't waste their time. Don't waste your time. If you're seriously interested in that school, then go up there and ask them these questions that are on this list. Make a list of your questions that you want to ask before you get to the college fair. Have a list in mind of what schools you're interested in getting additional information from. And then make sure you follow that school on their social media, follow them on Instagram, visit their website frequently so you can see what's going on, and make yourself a spreadsheet of all the schools that you're interested in, and then fill it in the blanks. When are the application deadlines? What are their GPA requirements? What are their admission requirements? What's the size of school? What's the location of the school? Do they charge out-of-state fees? Those type of things. Make yourself a spreadsheet of all the schools you're interested in going to. Make sure you have all of these questions on this sheet that you see in front of you right now on the screen right now. Have questions answered. What clubs do you guys offer? What social organizations do you have? What athletic or sporting events do you have? Do you guys have theater? I'm just throwing things out there for you to consider. Do you have a chess club? Do you have a volleyball team? Do you have cheerleading? Do you have a dance squad? Do you have football? Do I have, study abroad programs? Those are all things that you should be looking into when you're choosing your schools, and particularly when you're doing college fairs. Make sure you try to get all of those questions answered to help you along with making your decision. Because once you're a senior, that's the point where you need to have already made your decision and you're ready to just start sending in applications. I think that's it for me. Okay. I'm sorry,
right. No, just good. All right. So these are some of the key things that go into choosing a school, and it can help you to pick a school. It can also help you to eliminate a school. If you're not a cold weather person, you don't want to go to school in Wisconsin. A Boston might not be, ideal for you. All right. So here are some additional resources that are available to you in doing your research. Meet with your guidance counselor, especially if you are a junior or a senior, and let your guidance counselor know, hey, you know what? I am interested in college. I need, some help to be able to help and some guidance in making some decisions. It's even if you're a freshman, it's not too soon. It's not too soon, because sometimes those guidance counselors, if they know that you're interested in particular schools, they actually have connections with some of those schools. So we talked about reaching out to the alumni and the alumni networks. You can do the official college tours online on the college website or on YouTube, or you can do, like I mentioned, and get the realty from the students and what it's like on YouTube as well. We talked about college fairs. We talked about what we didn't talk about is having a real, like, nitty-gritty, give it to me straight conversation with your family and friends. Your friends and your family know you pretty well, and they may, be the ones to kind of say, yeah, I know that I know that you're interested in X, Y, and Z, but, or yes, you're interested in X, Y, and Z, and have you considered? So those are the, I remember when one of my middle children was the one that's an attorney. I planted that seed. That heifer could argue like nobody's business. She was like in middle school. I said, you should be a lawyer. And she was a really strong advocate. She took me up on that. So if you're still having some questions, run your decisions or the things that you narrow your list down to, run it by your family and friends and say, do you think, what do you think? Can you see me at at school in Kentucky? Can you see me at school in Florida? That type of thing. Visit schools when you have the opportunity. There are, particularly with HBCUs, there are some HBCU tours that do leave out of Los Angeles. Sometimes you can get a sponsor where they will pay for you to go, and you can go on a tour on spring break, and they stop at a bunch of different schools. So if you have the opportunity to visit the schools, even if they're local, even if it's Northridge, pardon my dog, my daughter decided to leave and she left my office door open. So, go visit some of the schools that you're interested in, especially if they're local and it's convenient for you to do it. And like Stacy mentioned, keep a consistent list of questions so you can do a fair comparison. Like you're asking the same questions to every single college that you go to. Okay, and for the next slide, this is how you build your list. And you're talking about the list and how to actually pull it all together. And that's the synthesis that we talked about at the very beginning. So pick the schools that you're willing to go to. And then you want to create your list with 3 different categories. Is this a school that it's what we call a reach school? Like there's a possibility you could get in, but it's, it's kind of out there. It's a slim possibility. It's, I don't know about this one, but I'm gonna try. Then there's your stretch school. This is a school that you may meet, the criteria for, say, their minimum criteria for to apply might be a 2.8, and you have a 2.5. That would be considered a stretch school. Doesn't mean that you don't meet the criteria. It just means that you may or may not be competitive. It just depends on what they're looking for. Then you got this 50-50, like I got a 50-50 chance of really getting into this school. I feel pretty good about it. And then there's your safety school. Like this is a school that no matter what, when you apply, you can get in. It could be one of your local schools. It could be, a different school that is looking for students like you. There are lots of colleges and universities all around the country They're looking for balance for their student population. So don't count the school out just because. University of Colorado, I heard, is one of those kinds of schools. They want to attract a very diverse population. And so if they're looking at their incoming, freshman class, so the applications that are coming in, and they don't have enough Black males, guess what? Your application moves to the very top of the pile, even if they require a 2.8 and you have a 2.85. Okay. But your safety school is like, this is a school that, all right, yep, I can get in with no problem at all. All right. The next thing we want to talk about is half. So out of these different categories, you want to have at least 2 to 3 schools in each category and apply to at least 8 to 10, because you never know. You would be surprised at what school, except what schools will give you money. You'll be surprised at what schools turn students down. Even 4.0 valedictory, those kind of students, those valedictorians, they don't get in every school they apply to. It just depends on what the school is looking for in order to make their population whole and complete. Then you want to identify the benefits of each college. And those are the things that we talked about a few slides ago. The academic programs, what the extracurricular activities look like, what kind of social opportunities are there, fraternities, sororities, all of these different clubs. Are there intramural sports? You want to play softball, any of those things that are of interest to you, you can have that. And then diversity. Do you want to go to an HBCU where most, not all, most of the students look like you? Or, are you comfortable? Or you want a different experience? And then if it's affordable, because like I tell my senior, it does not matter what schools you get in if I cannot afford to pay for it. So my husband and I, it has to be affordable for us. Even if she gets in the best schools, it's got to be affordable. We got to be able to send her off to school, and because we got 2 of them in college at the same time. And that means 2 cell phone bills, 2 cars, 2, we got to buy groceries for our house plus their 2 households, that kind of thing, unless they rack up on those scholarships and aid. And I think we are coming to close to the end. Don't rule out college is a good option. Even do dual enrollment. You can be enrolled at a university and take classes at a community college. Or you can start at the community college. Why is it a good idea? Yeah, it's really affordable. If I'm not mistaken, here in California, if you graduate from a California high school, community college, I think it's free. Don't quote me on that. I think it is free though. You can have some flexibility in terms of your academic path. They do have opportunities, and there's a lot of coaching and support. Should you decide that you want to keep going and you want to transfer to a 4-year college or university, they have really good programs to connect you to 4-year universities, and they don't have to be local. Just because you go to Pasadena City College doesn't mean that you're stuck or you have to transfer into a UC school. You can, go pretty much anywhere. And socially, some people may need that little bridge so that you can adjust to being a college student before you actually get immersed into the college or university lifestyle. Community college does offer job training and certificates. So if you, are in a situation or you have a desire where you need to start a career right away, you don't have 4 years, to actually start making some real money, you can do job training, and they have certificate programs. It gives you more options to have a school life balance. Some people have, you know, other responsibilities that they have to take care of. And community colleges tend to have a lot more offerings at night and on the weekends. You can obtain an associate's degree if that's what you decide to do. The classes are smaller. You can also get professional certificates if you already have a college degree, and they do have online classes. All right, to pull it all together, when you narrowed it down to some schools and you're really struggling to decide, you know, you have a few schools that really look good to you, what you can do what we call a SWOT analysis. And SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. This is where your list starts looking, you know, pretty good, are pretty specific to you in particular, because what's a strength to you for a specific school may not be a strength to somebody else. So strengths are, what are the things about this school that just like really stand out? The weaknesses about the school, this is like the stuff that you just don't like. Okay, so let's take UC Santa Barbara, for example. Strength, it's on the water, it's beautiful, it's breathtaking. They have the major that you want. Your cousin is going, so you're gonna know somebody there already. A weakness is that the food is awful on campus. I'm making this up. I'm totally making it up. I don't know. But, you know, it may be, it's too close to home. It may be, you know, you want to get away from certain people and or situations, and it might be too close to home. Or you are ready to, you know, explore and spread your wings and find out who you are as a person, and if you're ready to stand on your own 2 feet. Opportunities are things that are going to build on your success. Does this school have a really strong alumni network who can help me to get jobs if I need it? There's, you know, lots of, do they have job fairs? Do they have actually companies that come to the school, as I was mentioning with Southern, where they have these, every year they have this huge career fair just for the engineering students, because they, you know, produce such high caliber engineers. The jobs literally come to them, literally. So those are kind of opportunities that you would have at whatever schools you decide is on your short list. And then threats. What are obstacles to your success? Is it you know, a school that is in Michigan and you don't like cold weather? And I mean, that's real talk. Like, that would be considered a threat. It can be a weakness too, but a threat is you don't like cold. Weakness is you don't like cold weather. A threat could be the campus is huge and you don't know how to drive in the snow, or you don't have a vehicle, or you're not gonna be able to get off campus, right? So that could be a threat to your success as a college student. So ultimately, I hope that this will be the look on your face when you start thinking about your future, and that we have taken a little bit of the concern, the anxiety away from making this really important decision. Not saying that it's going to completely go away. There's always some anxiety. Doesn't matter how old you are or how much experience you have when you're walking into a brand new situation where you don't have all the answers and you don't know every single thing or every person. So there's going to be some anxiety just from being a little uncomfortable because of the unknown. But ultimately, we hope that from this presentation and the things that we talked about today, that this will be how this you feel on the inside. Like, I'm prepared, I'm ready, let's do this. All right. Questions, concerns, complaints? Ready for me to shut up?
That was amazing, Jean. That was some really, really good information. I do see that a few students joined after you started. And I just wanted to give them an opportunity to share with us as well, like we did earlier. See Javella, Ryan, Divine. Okay. Do you mind coming off mute right quick? Just share with us, please. Oh, and Arlen, if you don't mind sharing with us, what grade are you in high school?
12.
11th grade.
Wait, is that Ryan? Ryan, wait, hold on. Ryan, did you say 12th grade? You're a senior?
Yes.
Okay. And then Javella, did you say junior? You're 11th grade?
Yeah.
Okay. And Arlen?
10th.
10th grade, sophomore. Okay, okay. Well, before I move to my next question, do you guys have any questions? Was there anything that wasn't clear or anything that you want Ms. Jean to go back over with you?
No, not really. It's just I was here, but then I got kicked out, then back in, then kicked out. So.
Oh. Did you see the slide, Arlene? Did you see the slide that had a list of all of those things that you should ask or take into consideration when you're choosing your college?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Did you all take note of that? Take a picture of it or write it down?
No. Would you mind, if it's not a problem, would you mind putting it up there so I can take a screenshot of it? Because I just logged in.
Okay. Hold on a second. It's not. It's going backwards. Hang on just a moment. Let me get it up for you.
So while we're waiting, Javella, have you started thinking about where you would like to go to school? To college, I mean, giving it any thought?
Repeat that?
Have you given any thought to college yet?
Yeah.
What are you considering? Or are you considering like in-state or out of state? Do you know?
I want to go to like Pepperdine or Cal State, yes.
Okay. All right. Very good. What about you, Bryant? Have you started considering colleges?
I'm still looking at it because I'm not really sure what colleges offer the course I'm looking for.
What are you thinking about studying?
Mechanical engineer.
Oh wow, there's a lot of schools for that. A lot.
Yeah,
Definitely.
but yeah, I'm still looking because I'm not sure where I want to go and what are
Right.
the costs.
You can even just go online and do a Google search. What are the top schools that offer mechanical engineering and start from there?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And Divine, is this the screen that you were looking for?
Yeah, I just took a screenshot of it. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All right, who did I miss? Arlen, have you started considering what schools you'd like to go to?
No, I'm still looking for any electrician or pilot that I can get.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. Because that career is one that there's not a specified major for in college. So you want to be a pilot, and nobody has well, there are a few actually schools that have majors targeted for people who want to be pilots, but it's not called pre-piloting. So you got to find out or figure out what types of majors are aligned with becoming a pilot. So you start there and say, I want to be a pilot. What should I major in? What do you think it is? Any idea? Because I can tell you. I can get you started. Let me say that.
Repeat that.
What major, what do you think would be a good major for somebody who wants to be a pilot? And I take guesses from the crowd. What do you think? Nobody?
Aeronautics?
I was gonna say
Aeronautics?
aeronautics. Oh, jinx.
Yeah, actually, I was going to say my great nephew just graduated from Middle Tennessee State in 2020, and his major was aeronautics, aviation, and aerospace technology, something like that.
Believe it or not, math. Who knew, right?
Okay.
Math. And let me tell you why. We have I actually have 2 family members who are pilots and lots of friends who are pilots because of the ROTC program at Southern University. The Navy ROTC program, to be very specific. And so, yeah, it's math, because when you are in the cockpit, you have to be able to make some calculations in your head to make sure you're flying at the right altitude, to know what happens if you run into some type of interference and you need to shift, you need to change your course. All of that cool stuff to be able to fly a plane is heavily math dependent. Are there any other questions?
Nope.
Did you guys learn something that you didn't know tonight? What would you say was the biggest thing that you're going to find helpful, that you think is going to be helpful to you in making your decision? Anybody?
Making connections.
Okay. Okay. Do you guys feel confident now in terms of what to say and do when you're going to a college fair, or know what steps you need to take when you're considering the college you're going to attend? Do you feel a little bit more confident now, or do you still have questions? What a tough crowd.
I know. Are y'all
I bet
at the
if I had
football
prizes, people would
What?
answer.
game? Yeah, are y'all at the football game? You asleep? You watching Netflix? What's going on?
I'm a bit confident about going to Middle Tennessee State University.
Ah,
Okay.
you forgot what I said. You see, Southern University is where both of my uncles went, and godfather to one of my children, who is also a pilot.
I said maybe.
And I heard they have great food. What if my friend's daughter went there? It's like Thanksgiving every day, so
amazing food. It's and I want to back up to one of the things that somebody asked about, why be friendly with the staff. I was sick. I was a freshman, second semester of my freshman year, got the flu. And I missed like 2 days of my Algebra 2 class. My professor called me and she said, Jean, you never miss my class. What is going on? And I told her, I said, I've been sick. I got the flu. And because, and so she said, okay, well, let's do whatever we have to do to catch you up. When you go to, school that genuinely cares about their students, you're going to get that. I mean, I'm a freshman. I'm nobody on this big old campus, right? But she noticed that I missed that class, and she called my house and she was saying, what's up with you? Because we got to get you back on track. You want to find that network, that community, who really care. They want you to succeed. And guess what? because math was like, I hated math. It's not a good subject for me. But I took my butt to class every day because it was important to me to get an A. And I knew I had friends who were really good at math and, reached out and said, hey, I need help. And so, it may not be that you have that friend that's really good at some class that you might be struggling in, but they might know somebody else. It might be your roommate's boyfriend who is good at whatever it is that you need. So you lean into those relationships and make those relationships. They become your community. When you go to college, you will have, your network. We talked about network. You will have your community and you will have your tribe. Your tribe, that's your ride or die folks. I don't have clean underwear. I need some detergent. That's your tribe. Your community are all of these folks that they take a genuine interest in your success and they wrap their arms around you and they rally for you and with you so that you can succeed. And then your network. These are people that you see on campus, you say hi to, you make your presence known, that you may have to call and ask about a job one day, or bump into them in the airport, and you might have lost your wallet or whatever, and they can buy you a drink. That is what your college experience could and should be about, is how you can be a tribesman or a person in somebody else's network, because you're going to need help, but you're in college so that you can be that person to return the help as well. So you need resources and you can be a resource. There'll be people that's never been to Southern California. They're going to want to know, what is it really like? Is it like everything we see on TV? Good, bad, or ugly, right? So be a resource for people too. Yay.
Can I just say, you guys, Miss Jean, Miss Stacy, they are resources for you. Arlen, she just gave you family members that she knows that are pilots. Who's to say that maybe could have like a meeting where they can just share, like, what does it really take? What do you actually have to do to actually do that? Because to be a pilot, you're responsible for all the people on the plane, right? And like she said, all those math calculations and everything like that. But when you see pilots walking through the airport, I don't know about you, but the pilots walk through, they be like, they got exclusive VIP access. Right?
I meant
right, with the jacket and the hat and the right. So they are a resource for you here as well. So we can actually connect you with some of, and for all of you, actually drop in the chat, what careers do you want? What do you want to pursue? What are you interested in? Because this CAP meeting is a resource for you.
And we have brought those kinds of careers to you, to students like you in the past. People have said, I want to be a music producer. Guess what? We brought 2 of them. Here they are. Talk to them. Pick their brains. I want to be a pediatrician. Brought one. So let us know what you're interested in, and we can bring, some of these careers directly to you so you can get more insight.
And as a parent, I want to thank you, because it's senior year, we're going through it, and he needs a bit more personal insight, because sometimes at school you don't get the personal insight. So having that extra, because we're trying to figure it out, girls.
I highly recommend, as a parent, send them away. It's a protected environment. I know it's a scary thing. It's for the kid and for the parent. But if it's something that, if you find a school that y'all can agree on and it works for your budget, and please take advantage of it. because you learn how to navigate the world in a protected environment, as opposed to going to a local school, get a job, and then your job offer comes and it is in Delaware. And then you were like, oh my God, I've never left California. How am I going to, navigate this?
One question.
Ask as many questions as you want.
Can you bring a, what's it called? Wait, give me a second.
Can you bring a what?
And a person from the Air Force?
Sure. My brother just retired from the Air Force. He was a sniper. What kind of Air Force career are you looking for? Is this the pilot that I'm talking to?
Yeah.
You don't want a Navy pilot, you want an Air Force pilot?
Yeah.
Pilot is a pilot.
Yeah.
Okay. We can find you a pilot, an Air Force pilot.
All right.
All right. I'm taking orders. Anybody else?
Can y'all
Ms.
bring in
Christelle,
someone in-
do you have Arlene's contact information? Arlene's, okay, very good.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes,
Who
I do.
else?
Can you bring someone in that's like working with cars and planes, like as a mechanical engineer, but like two different people working on it?
Okay, so a mechanical engineer and a mechanic are two different things.
Oh,
Two different things. A mechanical engineer designs the engines, and the mechanics of things that move and tick. They are the actual brains, the brain power behind the design.
yeah.
And
So,
is that what you want to do?
yeah. Well, like mechanical engineer is my first career path, and then mechanic would be the second one.
Okay. Yep, we can do that. I know several MEs. Though that's what
Thank
they
you.
call mechanical engineers. Yeah,
Yeah.
an ME.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? You know where I met these people? College.
Wow.
Go figure. Go figure.
Who else do you got? What other careers are you interested in?
CPA.
Ryan, I didn't catch that. What'd you say?
CPA.
CPA. Done. I saw somebody say preschool teacher. Yep. Preschool teacher. Y'all still interested in a preschool teacher?
Yes, Javella said it. She said either preschool teacher or foster care social worker.
Okay. Anybody else? Javella, you have a heart. That is to do both of those jobs. You have to have the right kind of heart for that. That's I applaud you. All right. Last call. Okay, let us know if you think of something else. We'll try to bring them to you, okay?
Thank you, Jean. Fabulous. I appreciate it. Thanks you
You're
guys for
welcome.
your time. We'll be back again next month on the first Friday of, what is that, November? And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again next month. If you have any questions for us in the meantime, please let Miss Christelle know. She does know how to get in contact with me. But Miss Christelle, I do believe you have some prizes to give out.
I do. Really quick. We're gonna do a wheel of names right here. And so when I spin the name, drop in the chat when you win. In the chat, just let me know if you want a Starbucks, Jamba Juice, or Yogurtland. All right, let's go.
Your
I
name
bet I'm
is-
not gonna win.
You never know, you may win.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Bryant. Congratulations, Bryant. You're a winner. Put it in the chat. Let me know what you like.
Awesome, Bryant.
How's that possible?
Congratulations,
Worst
Arlen.
entire
The
world.
one who said he wouldn't win.
How's that even possible? I have the worst luck in the entire world.
Well, not
You're lucky.
Bernie
anymore.
with me. You talking to the unluckiest person in the world.
Let's see. You never know.
Bro, I bet I'm the only one that gets dropped into a puddle.
Congratulations, Ryan. All right. Wonderful, you all. Just drop it in the chat. Let me know what you would like. And thank you for awesome cap.
Can you do one
Thank you
more
all so
time?
much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Good night.
Have a nice
Bye.
day.